are looking at the white paper that you picked up when you came in. Perimeter and area review. This should not be new, okay? If you look at your journal, the very first thing we glued in was our formula chart. If you have lost yours, I do have some extras. If you weren't here with me in the beginning, I have extras. But today we're going to review circumference of circles. We're going to review area. That's all we're doing today, okay? We are moving this unit to surface area and volume, which will take us until Thanksgiving break, okay? All right, so if you look at the top of the paper, it has those same formulas right here, so you don't have to keep going back to that formula chart. It's perimeter and area. What does perimeter mean? You're adding, and where is perimeter? The outside. Okay, perimeter's the outside. Or maybe the edge. If I'm talking about putting up a fence, that's perimeter. If I'm sewing something around the outside, that is the edge. Okay? And then area is inside. And for area, we're always multiplying. Here we said add. Okay? For area, we're multiplying. For area, our units are always squared. For perimeter, it's not. Okay? And again, this should be easy. This is review. So the thing that is probably going to give you the most trouble is circles, because you didn't learn that until 7th grade. And if you were one of those people who weren't really paying attention, you just Googled everything last year. Then,
I didn't Google it.
Okay. So circumference. Circumference is the word for perimeter of a circle. Perimeter is where you're adding the outside edges. But do circles have edges? No. That's why it has a different name and a different formula, because we're not adding any outside edges.
Miss Davis, one of the funnest things you did in your class last year was that end of year assignment. You had to figure out
Oh yeah.
That was really fun.
We'll do something like that this year too, with like college and budgets. It's a fun assignment. Okay, so the circumference of a circle is like the outside. Look at your formula. That weird symbol
Pi
is pi. In 7th grade, that symbol was on your formula chart. In 8th grade, it's not. You may remember what pi equals? 3.14. Okay, so 3.14 is what pi is. Now, it's a number that never ends, but in 7th grade, we're using 3.14.
So how was pi created?
So the R is for, anybody remember? The radius. The D is diameter. Okay? So quick circle review. Which one goes halfway? Radius goes halfway. So then what is diameter? All the way. If you know the radius, how do you get the diameter? Times 2. If you know the diameter, how do you get the radius? Divide by 2. Okay? Yes. If you know the radius, you times it by 2 because there are 2 radiuses. If you know the diameter, you divide by 2. Okay? Alright. Triangles. You've been doing triangles since 6th grade. Triangles should be easy. It's 1/2 BH. Another way to do that is base times height divided by 2. Okay? But you cannot do base times height divided by 1/2. It's either divide by 2 or times 1/2. Okay? The thing that people forget about triangles, when you have a right triangle, it's easy to find the base and height. But when you have a non-right triangle, sometimes people get confused. So the base is easy because it's this bottom one. But your height is inside. Yeah, good, Gavin. Okay. So they'll trick you by giving you extra numbers. So make sure you know that your base and height make a what? Do you remember? Yes, make a right angle. Base and height make a 90-degree angle. It's this box. That's how you know it's a right angle. Again, this is just review. This should not be anything new. Rectangle. Super, super, super easy. How do you find the area of a rectangle? Yeah, base times height or length times width. You just multiply. Trapezoids we don't need to know for this unit, so we can just mark this off. But circles we do need to know. The formula is pi r squared. What does r squared mean? Yeah, 3.14 times radius. Now, in 7th grade, I made you write it like that. In 8th grade, you have a calculator. So do you need to really do radius times radius? No. You just do what? The radius squared button. Yeah. In 7th grade, we wrote it out like this so you would remember it's radius times radius. 8th grade, use your calculator. Radius times radius squared. Okay? So this is all we're doing today. Very, very, very easy. Okay? So, real quick review of perimeter. How do you find the perimeter of a triangle?
Base times
Perimeter.
You just add base.
Okay, so on our formula chart, we're going to see a capital P. Oops, where am I at? Oh. Okay, on our formula chart, we're going to see a capital P. That means perimeter. Okay. So the perimeter of a triangle, how many sides are there?
3.
3. You're just going to add the 3 sides. For the perimeter of a rectangle, what are we doing? Add 4 sides. Now, some people would like to do this, which is they add the side and then they multiply by 2. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, if that confuses you, just add all 4 sides. And then finally, for a circle, what's another word for the perimeter of a circle?
Oh, wait, what?
What's the word for perimeter of a circle?
Circumference.
Circumference. So it's 2 pi r or pi d. I'm recording these notes for people who are out, and y'all know that, so you're being inappropriate. Not okay. So the capital P means perimeter. Okay? We're also going to start to see capital B. Anybody remember what big B means? We did it last year. Area of the base. Okay? So our formulas are going to involve capital P and big B. Okay? Those are very important to know going forward for tomorrow. Okay? So B is not the base, the bottom. It's the area of the whole base. Okay? Alright, so let's practice. Again, this should be pretty easy. Okay? First shape is a what? Triangle. What numbers do I add for the perimeter of the triangle?
11, 14.
So what is the perimeter? 45 what?
Squared.
45
Kilometers.
kilometers. 45 km, yes. Okay? Shh. Remember, perimeter is not squared. It's just the regular units. Okay? For big B, what shape is it? It's a triangle. What's our formula? 1/2 BH. So 1/2. And again, if in your calculator you want to change that to 0.5, perfect. Okay, if you want to put 1/2, fine. Okay, what number is the base or the bottom? 20. And which number is the height? And how did you know it was 7.4? It makes a right angle. Okay, it has to make a right angle. So now in your calculator, what does that equal? 74 what? Kilometers what? Squared. Remember, area is always squared. So it's 74 kilometers squared. Are there any questions on how to do that triangle? Okay, rectangle is super, super easy. What numbers do I add for the rectangle?
Oh, 7 is 7 squared.
Is that enough to give me the perimeter?
No.
No. I either need to add it again, not square it, or you can do this. Whichever way you prefer. They're the same thing. So what is the perimeter? 37 feet. Okay. So literally you just either add the 4 sides or you add the 2 sides and then multiply it by 2 because there are 2 of them. Yes.
Why did you do it twice?
Because there's 4 sides to a rectangle.
There was only 2.
So remember, opposite sides are the same. So these 2 are the same. And then these 2 are the same.
So do you do the same thing for triangles?
Nope, triangles, they give you the 3 sides. But rectangles, the opposite sides are equal. Okay, big B meets area of base. What shape do we have? Rectangle. What's the formula for rectangle? Base times height. Okay, the base is 7. The height is 11.5. The area is feet squared. Okay, this should be easy. You need to be really good at this for what we start tomorrow. Any questions on this? Okay, on the back, there's a couple of triangles because triangles are what confuse people the most because of the extra numbers. So first thing, perimeter. What numbers do I add for the perimeter?
16, 14, 18. I mean 8.
Why am I not adding 7? It's inside. Yeah, it's inside. So what is the perimeter? 38 what? Meters. 38 meters. Okay. Now, it's a triangle. So 1/2 BH. Again, if you want to change it to 0.5, that's fine. If you want to leave it as 1/2, that's fine. Okay. What number is the base? 16. What number is the height? 7. And again, the way we know that is there's that right angle. So what does that equal? 56 what? Meters squared. All right. Now this is a right triangle. For this right triangle, what's the hypotenuse?
13.
13. Good. Okay, for perimeter, what do I do? Add all the sides. 12 plus 5 plus 13 is 30 centimeters. Okay. For the area, what's the formula? 1/2 base times height. Okay. Which 2 numbers make up my right angle? 12 and 5. Okay, again, here's my right angle. I don't need that number. So what is the area? 30 centimeters squared. Good. Good. All right. Circles might be what you have forgotten. Yes.
How come you always have to put the 1/2?
That is the triangle formula. So the triangle formula is 1/2. Yeah. So if you look at a triangle and you put 2 of them together, they make a square. So exactly what she said, it's half. So that's just your formula. All right, circles is probably going to be the one that you have forgotten the most, and that's okay. So what is 6.4? Is that the radius or the diameter?
Radius.
That's the radius.
Yeah.
6.4. If I asked you for the diameter, what would you tell me? 12.8. And how did you get that? Yeah, add it twice or multiply it by 2, either one. Okay, now circumference. Remember, circumference is like perimeter. There's only one number. What's your formula for circumference? What's the circumference formula? 2 pi r. 2 pi r. What does pi equal?
3.14.
Okay, what's the radius? 6.4. Okay, so what is the circumference or the perimeter of this circle? Pick up your calculators. I hear 10.1. 2 times 3.14 times 6.4.
I got 40.3.
40.192 is what the calculator gives you, right?
2.2.
Oh, okay. I might have done it wrong. 2 times 3.14 times 40.192. Now, if I asked you to round it to the nearest tenth, what would you tell me? 40.2.
Could you just do the pi symbol instead of 3.1?
Don't use the pi symbol because it's going to overestimate it. It's going to make the number higher, and then you have to pick the one that's closest. So on open-ended questions, don't push the pi button.
It was the same answer.
Exactly the same?
Well, not like the decimal. It was the
Okay.
40.2.
So if it's an open-ended question, you're going to miss it because you have the wrong decimal. So don't use the pi button. Okay, now big B means the area of the base, which is a circle. What's our formula for area of a circle? You don't have to have it memorized, but you do need to use your formula chart. What's the area of a circle formula?
Pi times
Pi r squared. Make sure you're looking under area. Pi r squared. So pi r squared, 3.14. What's the radius? 6.4 squared. Remember how to put that in the calculator. 3.14 times 6.4 squared. And what do you get?
I got
128.6144. Okay, if I asked you to round that to the nearest tenth, what would you tell me? 128.6 miles squared. Okay, this is probably the one that you have the least experience with because we just learned it in 7th grade. Okay, the last shape is a what? Square. This is the easiest one. Okay, what numbers do you add for the perimeter?
5.
5 plus what?
5. You can do 5 times 4 because it's
Yeah. You could also do 5 times 4. And what's the perimeter?
20.
20 feet. Okay. Now, how do you do area?
5 to 25.
Yep. Base times height. 5 times 5 is 25 feet squared. Okay. So that is all we are doing. Is that difficult? No, we have done it before. It's not new information. So you should, yeah, and you just forgot. That's okay. That's how we're going to remember, is we're going to practice, okay? You have to be really good at this in order to do what we're doing tomorrow, okay? Any questions on area or perimeter? All right. I have a couple of you who need to take